Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be talking about GKS interview process. Let's say if you have applied via embassy track or university track, you have to face interview at some point of time. So in this video I'll be talking about some of the most asked interview question in GKS, and if you go through all these questions, I'm damn sure 99.9% questions will match from this particular set. Now there are a few starting points which I would like to clear before heading into the video. So the first point is, trust me, you will be nervous. So that's for sure. But make sure your nervousness doesn't make you look bad. Okay. Now my second point is something like, sometimes what happens is that when the interviewer is saying something and you are framing your answer, so there is a possibility that you might not be able to hear what he is saying clearly. So in that case, what happens is that generally you want to tell the interviewer to repeat the question. Don't make that too often. Try to hear the question properly and then work on it and process in your brain at the same time when the interviewer is saying the question. So don't try to think of the answer and then there should not be a lag between interviewer questions and your answers. Normal lag is like 10 seconds or maybe 5-second lag is okay, but let's not make it a minute lag. Now, since the interviews are happening online, so my third point is related to that. Let's say if you are taking interview on Zoom calls. So there is a possibility that you can open Google Chrome or Notepad or make some frames and you can try to cheat in the interview. Don't do that, please. In what happens is that, let's say if I'm reading this iPad right now and I'm talking to you via this camera. Now what happens is that my eyes, you can see that I am reading here and then talking to you. So it is clearly visible. So don't try to make that happen when you are talking to on the screen. Say like what I'm saying right now. So you have to look into the camera and then you have to speak your answer. So it makes you look more confident. Don't try to read the lines like this and then, so try to understand that. Now moving ahead. So the last point is be relaxed and try to calm yourself. And don't think too much about the interview. It's gonna be very easy. So generally the questions they ask is very easy and it will be related to your life and your major. So you will be knowing the answer. So all you have to do is that deliver those answers in the best way possible. Now, the time of the interview. So generally what happens is that interview takes place between 15 to 20 minutes. But for me, I think I felt like my interview ended in 10 minutes. So yeah, it depends on how the interviewer is going to judge you and how fast you're answering and what number of questions he has decided to ask you. So there are several parameters. So we can't fix the time of the interview, but generally it's like 15 to 25 minutes. Now how to practice? Let's say if you are practicing these questions, which I'll be telling in just a moment. Now you have to sit in front of camera or maybe mirror. The best way is to sit in front of camera and then answer it. So you will be well equipped with how to answer in the camera and Zoom. So better you open your Zoom or open your mobile camera, front camera, and then try to speak on it, and then try to record it and listen it, and try to analyze how good or bad your answer is. So what you can do is that, let's say if I am telling question 1. So you can pause the video and try to answer that question and then move ahead in the video. So like that you will be answering all the questions, and in that way you will be making a certain kind of answers in your brain before delivering the final interview. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive into the video. Now the first set of questions will be about yourself. Now here I have made some questions and I'll be reading out those questions. So the first set, the first category of questions will be about yourself. So the first question they might ask about you, and certainly they will be asking, is introduce yourself. Now the question will be like, introduce yourself or tell us about yourself. So they asked me and they asked various scholars. So it's a common question to everyone. Now the second question they can ask about is like, how and what is your educational background? Have you ever working experience, research experience? So let's say if you're told about them that your major is this and that, so they can ask about like what major you did and are you working or what work are you doing. So it will be basically about your life and what are you doing currently. Now the third question can be like, so these questions are in the category of about yourself. Okay, it is not necessary that they will be asking all these questions, but some of these questions can be asked. Now the third question is, why do we need to choose you? Why do you deserve to get this scholarship? So you have to frame an answer in such a way that you look unique compared to other candidates. Now the other question that can be asked is like, what are your strengths and weaknesses? So this is also a basic question, and kind of, if you Google the questions on interview questions, you will find these kind of questions already. So weaknesses, strengths are also asked in many interviews. Now they can ask about your past achievements and previous experiences. This was asked to me also. So you can expect these kind of questions. Now they can also ask what you like or dislike about Korea, or maybe what you like or dislike in the personality or about you, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of moving to foreign country. So these kind of questions are expected to know your personal opinion on this particular topic. Now the last question can be like, who all are in your family, and are they going to support that decision to study in Korea? So these kind of questions can also be asked, like family and background. Since family and background is removed from the personal statement this year, so they might ask that in the interview. So all these 8 questions which I told you right now, that can be asked in about yourself section. Now the next category of question could be about Korea and Korean language. So the first question could be, why South Korea? Okay, so you have to K-pop, K-drama, whatever you want to say, you can say here, but try to make it research oriented, study oriented, purpose driven. Then why do you want to study in Korea? So they asked me this, and I answered like, there are certain research going on and that, like, my research is gonna matching those faculty researches. So I answered like that, but it depends on person to person. So you can answer in such a way that, why do you want to study in Korea? Then the third question could be like, what do you know about South Korea's culture? So I know that all of you, like most of you, are K-drama and K-pop crazy fans. So you can answer this question very easily. Now, what make you interested in South Korea? So these are same kind of questions. So I'm not saying that they will be asking line by line. Yeah, so these kind of questions can be paraphrased in a different way and asked to you. Now, what are the challenges you think you will face in Korea? Then tell us the positive and negative things about Korea. Also, like if you have submitted topic, IELTS or TOEFL results, so how did you learn this language, and what are your plans to learn Korean language, and how are you going to learn the language in like the most efficient way? So these are the questions which you can expect about Korea and Korean language. Now the third category of question could be related to about your major and university. Let's say if you're applying to university track, then for sure this question will be asked. And let's say if you're applying for embassy track, then there is a possibility that they would be asking why these 3 universities. So and why this major, they will be certainly asking. So major and university is also a category which I have made in this video. Now in this category, the questions can be like, why did you choose that major? So what was your aim to choose this major? And if you are changing your major, let's say from engineering to management, then why are you doing so? Then it should be like, why did you choose this university? Let's say if you're applying for this university track, then certainly they're going to be asking, why did you choose this university and why not other universities? Now the third question could be, what will you do after graduation? So this is a basic question. You have already written future plan and everything in your study plan, so you can tell that in this particular question. Now the fourth question could be, will you return to your home country and stay in Korea or work in Korea? So what are your plans? So again, this is about future plan. And then, is your undergraduate or postgraduate thesis is related to the major you're applying for? Let's say if you're applying for something related to cybersecurity and you have done something in a bachelor's that is related to cybersecurity, so you can explain many things about it. But let's say if you are changing a major, or if you are applying for something new which you have no idea about, then you'll have to convince them that why did you choose that particular major or research topic, or see, it's all about how you convince them that you are the best candidate, okay, and why you are the best candidate for that particular university. So if you notice from the starting of the video, I'm not telling the answers of these questions. I'm only telling the types of the questions and examples of the question. Why so? Because I want you to frame your own answers, and that will be helpful. Now moving to the another category, that is about Global Korea Scholarship. Now these questions could be, why do you apply for GKS? Why not other scholarships? Also, if you fail for GKS, what you will be doing, and will you apply again next year? Also, like, how did you find about GKS? So these questions can be expected. Then other question could be like, how would you help or benefit inter-Korea relations if you are granted this scholarship? So you should be having some plans like how this particular scholarship will help to establish an inter-Korea relation kind of thing. Then the fifth question can be, what makes you think you can survive for 3-4 years for your studies? So you have to be well prepared for this, like, I'll be doing this, I'll be so from the answer itself it should be clear that you are confident about the future path which you have decided for yourself. Hey guys, if you want this PDF which I used in this video, all you have to do is that come to my Instagram and ask for this. I'll be sharing you the link where you can download this PDF. Thank you. Now in the last section, I'll be talking about some extra and random questions. So those questions could be, have you ever been to Korea, other countries before? How was it? If yes, then how was it? And how will you tackle cultural differences? That's an important question. Then how do you cope with problems? So this kind of personal questions. So they might ask, like, let's say if you're facing some psychological problem, or maybe you are feeling homesick or something like that. So how are you going to cope with that problem? Then there is like, where do you want to see yourself in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, after graduation? And then tell us an embarrassing moment in your life. So these are HR related questions. So there's a possibility that they might also ask, let's say if they're having a lot of time and less candidates, so they might ask these kind of questions also, but generally they don't ask. But for the sake of safety, I have given all these random questions also. So who is your role model and why? You can also ask this. Now the last question from them is damn sure would be, do you have any questions for us? Okay. Now at the end of the interview, they'll certainly ask you, do you have any questions for us? So if you have any, like when the results will be announced, or when are you going to tell me that if I am getting, selected for the further rounds, you can ask these type of questions to the interviewer. And you have to clear your confusion, right? So you use that moment to at least ask whatever want to ask. So as I told before, that I'm not gonna be framing the answers for you. You can frame your unique answers, because I believe that there is no right or wrong in these types of questions. So every question is right if the delivery is right. Okay, every answer is right if the delivery is right. So you have to be confident about your answer, and that's it. That's all matters. Now at the end, there are some do's and don'ts. So the first do is like, be punctual. Let's say if your Zoom joining time is 10 a.m. So you have to be active from 9:45 a.m. at least 15 minutes prior to your interview time. So you have to be active on Zoom, and then they will be calling you and taking you into the room, and then interview will take place. So either it will be on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or maybe I think Cisco WebEx. So these are platforms are there. So interview can be anywhere. It's not a problem. What you have to do is that you have to be punctual, whatever the time is. Now, second do is like, you have to know yourself very well. Okay. You don't have to think about like what you did last year and what you did year before last year. So you have to be very consistent about your answers. And if you know yourself, and then only you can make other know yourself, right? If you don't know yourself, then how will other know you? So you have to be very confident about your answers. Now dress neatly. Okay, so there is no rule that how you should be dressing up, but yeah, at least a formal attire would be nice. Now be confident. What I'm telling from the starting of the video, you have to be confident, but not overconfident, right? You don't have to think that the other person who is sitting is not knowing anything about you. He has read your SOPs, he has read your personal statement, so he might have idea about how you can answer the questions and everything. So you have to be confident, but not overconfident. So again, the fifth point is make eye contact, and this is not a face-to-face interview, right? So how you can make eye contact? By looking at the webcam. So practice by looking at the webcam. Generally what happens is that webcam is at the top and then the screen is at the bottom, and then we focus on the screen, not the webcam. So it makes our eye look like this. So try to focus on the webcam, not the screen. Now try to make your answers brief, clear, straight to the point, yet comprehensive. Don't just circle around the same point again and again, okay? You have to use new vocabularies, interesting vocabularies, and try to add fun elements if possible, okay? Now after the interview, you did the great job. Now don't think about it, what will happen, what is not going to happen. So just there is no point of thinking like that. You did good and the results will be good. So don't worry about it. So this was it about interview video, and I hope my video gave you a lot of questions to prepare. So the questions will be flashing in the below here, like the questions will be here. So you can read the questions, practice again and again, and I'm sure you'll be doing good. And if you have any questions, you can come to my Instagram. I'll be answering those. And if you want this PDF, which I was reading right now with all the questions, so all you have to do is that you have to, come to my Instagram. I'll be sharing the PDF with you. And that's it. You can take the questions from here and then prepare your answers. So this was it, guys, and I hope this video will be helpful in GKS interview preparation. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because if you don't subscribe, then how will you know about these important videos? So take care and all the best.